Greetings comrades, I am Admiral Andre. Welcome back to the 7th episode of our career. The previous episode unfortunately had some less than desirable outcomes, but you know that's part of the space journey. At any rate, I just want to go back to this final frontier. I was thinking Jebediah also deserves one of these space wing ribbons, just because when I was putting together the highlights of the previous video, that was number 5 I think, I also saw again that of course it wasn't just Valentina who took the tourists up to space. So this is such a trivial thing, but let me just quickly do this. Right, so at least now Jebediah also has those 2 ribbons. I think possibly we can give Valentina also the hero award. Let's just have a look, where is that again? There, the hero of Kerbal, first class. I think so, she was the first to orbit, so let's do that. At the end, everyone is just going to get the hero of Kerbal first class. I don't want to give anyone a lesser one, but anyway, I think they deserve it most because they were the first. So we'll keep that in mind for the future. So anyway, there's that. Now, something I thought about today, comrades. I'm going to start doing this from now. I just had this epiphany last night. I was thinking, you know, the capsules like Mercury and Apollo, they had names, you know. It wasn't just the Apollo capsule or the Gemini or the Mercury capsule. I actually don't know about the Gemini, but for certainly the Mercury and the Apollo. For example, you had the Liberty Bell and the Friendship 7, and you had Columbia and what were some other ones for the Apollos? Charlie Brown, I think, was one of them. Anyway, so I thought I was going to start today naming various missions after people who leave comments. I think that's a good thing. So I made a list of everyone who made a comment in the episodes in this series. Let's just focus on those most recent comments. And I put the names into a randomizer, and this is what I got. So here we are, comrades, random.org. I just put the names in here. So obviously in the future I'll just add new names to the end of this list. But, you know, so we'll start today with Lee Foster, Solar Sojourner, etc., etc. So this is just in a random order. We don't prioritize anyone, we give everyone an equal chance. So anyway, that said, Lee Foster, Solar Sojourner, just have to keep that in mind. Let's just have a look at our missions again. So again, here we are, comrades, the great master plan, which is not really experiencing great success lately, but we'll keep going with the Zond 5. This has to be done now. And then after that, I want to do a flyby of Minmus and a lunar impactor for both moons. So that's, I think, the order of the day. So let's go back to the game. I just also want to see if we have any new contracts. Bring a VIP. They want to pass out. Nope, I'm not going to do that one. No, I think we're okay in that regard. We still have enough money to complete these basic missions at least. So we just have to, of course, keep an eye on all of that. Now, I thought about this. For the Zond 5 equivalent, let's try something else. My other idea. We're going to use the Onion re-entry module. I'll have to give this one a name as well. But of course, this was the Zond equivalent, so this was not the Vostok or anything. So it's not so important for this one. But this will not be a crewed capsule, so I will have to figure out now how to put various components in here. Now, of course, I want to do the Science Junior because it will be the living specimens in there. And then I'll have to put the probe core on the top since I don't have the Octo yet. So I'm going to have to do some clipping here, comrades, but this will hopefully save us from burning up again, just because this thing has its own ablator and it doesn't matter if it rolls and wobbles and so on during re-entry. But of course, the higher re-entry heat effects that I put on in the settings when we started this save will of course also have an impact. So I'll just have to see that our missions in the future don't all burn up. But anyway, so in this case I definitely want a few batteries. I'll install them in the capsule here. We'll of course need a much heavier booster now as well, but I'm willing to try this. This will be our most advanced mission. Anyway, so we'll just put the batteries on there and of course tell the probe core to hibernate automatically during warp. The reason I want to attach all of this stuff on the top here is because I'm afraid if I attach it underneath, of course it's going to detach when this thing detaches, so I just have to be mindful of that. Now yes, as I said, there is going to be clipping here. Of course, in the real world we would build the whole thing custom towards the particular mission that we want, so it's not going to be clipping various things into it. I just want a parachute. We'll probably just use the basic radial one. Just one of these will be enough. And then of course the staging is important, but we'll come back to that. And then all of this is installed into the capsule. Now here I'll also have to be careful so it doesn't clip out. So right there is the limit, and then the parachute just has to be pushed down. Anyway, of course we have more space in here that we're not using. It's all just in the central column here, but anyway, again, this is like a more custom mission. So I just want to see, of course we don't have the fairings and all that to make this look a bit more elegant, but that's fine. This is an experiment, you know. So that's the capsule that will return from the moon at very great speeds. And then we don't need a decoupler here, so we just need a fuel tank. This is taking a great deal of inspiration from Vostok, of course. Now, oh yes, the other thing is a reaction wheel. I can put this in the service module. This doesn't have to be in the capsule. Of course, then we don't get it back. Well, we've clipped enough things in there. Right. Just use a different texture, and of course our very efficient Terrier engine, which should give us 500, but this is now in the sea level readout. That's more than enough for a flyby of the moon. So we go back to the sea level. So now we just have to get this object into low Kerbal orbit, which of course is calling for a totally different kind of booster. Just want to see if we use this. I think it looks better like this. Oh well. Next is an antenna, of course. We can basically use the passive one this time that we don't have to deploy. It's going to be a bit of a pain to try and do that. I'll just double it again. And of course it brings its own challenges. I don't want anything sticking out, because if we re-enter top first, then it's going to not survive. Right, can this work? It should be able to if we just again do our magic. There we go. We have a large surface, not surface area, volume to work with there, so we'll again argue that our engineers are custom making the antennas to fit there. So this weighs 3.5 tons. Now this is a quantum leap in our payload mass, so this will require some different thinking here. Let's see, this will be of course now a different booster totally. So we have that, and now we need an upper stage for the booster. In this case we can start using the larger tanks. Maybe if I do 2 of these with a swivel, 1300, and of course by then we're in the upper atmosphere. 1700, so what do we need out of that still? About another 1700 roughly. So now we have to build out. It's a real pity that the bicouplers and the tricouplers are only unlocked quite late in the game. But anyway, we'll make do. So of course, again, just the basic decoupler there. I'm actually wondering now. The wheels are turning again. We only have this for the larger diameter, so it'll take a large number of them, but that doesn't matter really. Let me play around with this. Let's see if we take this again and we go back out, and now we take this. Lots and lots of this. What is this anyway? The FLTX220. It's a very complex name. Then, okay, just get the staging back to normal. Now, in this case, I want to do the stage and a half kind of variant again, instead of having now a two-stage rocket here. Now, this gives me 2917, and this is by the high altitude, so we definitely need more than that. The thrust to weight ratio is of course going to be very low. That is exactly what we expect. Just want to see again sea level. That is sea level. Altitude 35. Maybe a little more. I'm surprised it's still 105. 0.85. That'll do just fine, comrades. Now in this case I am going to definitely try and recover this stage. I don't know if we'll manage it because it will basically go to orbit, so the re-entry heat of course is higher than normal. I'll just put that like that, since we don't have any parts to make it look nice on the bottom yet. Now this is not enough, so I want to separate the engines. Hopefully I can do cross feed. I still can't do the cross feed on these radial ones because I still don't have the fuel lines. Oh dear. Keeps getting more complex. Well, in that case I'll just add side tanks, which are obviously connected there. And then this is again going to be a really ugly booster, but hey, don't judge its appearance. It's the content of its character that matters, right? So this is definitely cross-feed capable, so I'll enable that, and then we will strap on some Reliance maybe, since we're going for the booster power here. Then just move this down. Should we go a little lower? I'm reminded again the shape is suggestive, but again let's judge it on the content of its character. In this case I'll probably just use some real struts again, just to take away from that a little bit. No, I hate when it does this, when it won't pick a side, or it you know, it doesn't go in the middle. Let's start from about there. There we go. That's a strange looking beast, but okay, we'll see what it can do. So right now it has a much higher thrust to weight, so actually maybe we can just do swivels. They're slightly more expensive and we will lose them unless let's put parachutes on this. It might still blow up when they hit one another, but I'm willing to try. So utility, parachutes, and now this is going to be interesting because I can't strap it to the engine itself, so it's going to have to be to the decoupler. But will it get kicked off from the decoupler as well? That's a good question. Let's experiment. So I'll put it there, and then work our magic again. Actually, before I do that, might be too late now. Yikes. Oh, I hate this. I hate it when we have to dig. But it's because I didn't do this before I moved it in. I have to remember to do that next time. Good grief. There. Just to put it back on the high minimum pressure. There we go. Right, that might work, we'll see. So we do all of this, then we fire that. This is all good. And then what is our thrust to weight? Still very high, so we'll just have to throttle down. Then the next thing, I could of course just use these kinds of engines, but now we can't do the cross feed yet, and I don't want to keep them on since I can't use the... Can I do action groups now? I guess I can. Ah. Well, back to the drawing board. Good grief. At least you see how what goes into the building of these various things. Let's do this then. It draws directly from the tanks, and we're not going to separate that. And now I click on them, and I click on custom one, and then I'll shut down. So we'll still have to drag the engines to orbit now. That's the other problem. But then at least we can recover them all at the same time. So thrust to weight is okay for taking off. That's all we want. And then I'll put 2 parachutes onto this thing. Just like this. Now increase the minimum pressure so it doesn't fire immediately. And now just move it in a little like that. There we go. All done. Put that there, close this one, fire that, and parachute. Great, so now we need a totally new naming scheme. I think we'll still have to do that. I'll still see if I have any of my original names for this. Oh no, we of course already have a name for this. Prodigy, so this will be Prodigy 3, I think. Don't save. Yes, 2 was the last one which exploded, so Prodigy 3, cancel. And now, of course, we add the name. Right there. So, Comrade Lee Foster, this is your craft. Let's hope, honest to goodness, it doesn't blow up. But if it does, I take no responsibility. Right, comrade, so I think we just put the launch clamps on here now, so we're pretty much ready to go. And just remember, Comrade Lee Foster, if it blows up, you can still live in infamy. So, yes, it's no reflection on you if it blows up, of course. So anyway, I think we'll just put this on an auto strut, and we'll try it. You know, it's all we can do. Save and launch. Welcome to the launch pad, comrades. Let's just go. We'll count it down quickly. Of course, I can lock it because Jeb has gotten into the thing somehow. He has twisted himself into a capsule in which he is not supposed to be, so no stowaways. Right, that was an abomination. That thing is completely packed with science, so I don't know how he got in there. It was a glitch, comrades. You didn't see anything. Right, now of course we do this with... oh dear. Now back to the drawing board. No fins. No fins, no launch. Sorry. We'll just use these big ones again. A throwback to the spire. There we are. Save again. Do we want to overwrite it? Yes. And go. Now, as always, more coffee. There we go. Much better. And 3, 2, 1. Good luck, comrade. What a strange rocket. Have to think of a name for the booster still. But let's just get the thing flying. Right. More or less on the 90. Again, doesn't matter. We'll be ending up 6 degrees offset from the equator anyway. Now, in the case of a stage and a half like this, although this is really not a stage and a half because we don't drop the engines, at any rate, I usually cut it off by about 500 meters per second, but we're picking up speed quite slowly here, so we'll have to see. We're approaching the 45 degrees a little too early, I'm afraid. Oh no, don't lose it. Despite the fins, it seems to be quite unstable. Anyway, shut it down now. Right, it's going back now. Very odd, but yes, this is not the base launch. Not at all, and we're not going to have nearly enough. It's fine, at least we still have more than enough on the upper stage. I didn't even look to see what this cost. It's fine, we have the money. Give me information. 32 is okay, but strangely unstable. Well, just there. I know we're wasting delta V now, but we are a little too shallow, and the upper stage is not very powerful anyway. It's an experiment in a new rocket and a new capsule, so everything will be a bit strange. Right, we're doing okay. 60 now, so we'll be reaching 70 on this, I think. Yep. And ditch the thing, so hopefully we'll get it back. We'll see. And it's hitting us now, so fire the engine just for a moment. There it goes. So the capsule is away, and now we just wait until we reach close to our apoapse. I can't wait to have SAS again. But then one day we can remember, you know, once we reach the great distances of the solar system, we'll reflect back and say, do you remember back when we didn't have SAS on our probes? And we'll all have a good laugh about it. The good old days, I suppose, or the bad old days, anyway. Then just get to about 20 seconds-ish, maybe 30. And to go back to fine controls and just ignite the engine. Hopefully we get enough science to unlock the next probe core. If not, then that has to be our priority, to get more science for that. And good enough. Right, we're in orbit, comrades. The Leaf Faster is in orbit. So now, what do? Of course, we do the planning for the moon flyby as usual, so we have to get past high orbit. So it's maybe a great thing that we didn't transmit the science last time, so otherwise this would be quite a, you know, not really profitable from a scientific standpoint. And we do want it to come back, although we can still do another burn when we fly by. It really does like to swing vertically there. So that's 500, and then what we get here. Now that's just the node. 300. So let's see if we can tweak this. Whoop. Not too much, otherwise we definitely will burn up. I need to use those tools more. Anyway, that's 17 kilometers. This, just the fine controls. 599 is just fine, so I think this will work. 853, then we still have more than enough in case we have to make correction burns. I'll just use the good old time warp trick. And there we go. So let's hope for the best, and it should be saving power now. 9 minutes. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just get out of time warp. Now, so gently just try and get onto that marker, but it'll be a struggle to keep it right there. Three, two, one, and there we go. Yes, it's not perfectly balanced. Oh well. It's not too much of a struggle, luckily. 24 seconds till engine cut off. 19, 18, and then we'll re-evaluate our situation. Yikes, we're gonna lose this thing. Yep. Okay, close enough for now. 1.6 off. But look at the difference this makes. That's so interesting, you know, it actually 5 million meters from 1 meter per second. And we get something completely different, but alright, as long as we pass high over the moon. That's strange, completely different. Well, 1.7 is still okay. I'll make a correction burn when we get there. There's no need to fuss about this. So now we just warp to the maneuver. Let's just see. Stage recovered. 2,666. That's not insignificant. Of course, the total value after the fuel was subtracted was 8,400. But then, of course, you have to take into account the distance and all of that. And anyway, there's a depreciation that happens. We can go a little faster than that. Anyway, that does help. That pays for 2 more engines next time. And are you gonna drop me out of time warp? Yes, you should. Yes, it adds an alarm. You can just cancel that. Another reason why this is such a useful mod, the alarm clock. And then we're going to pass very high over the moon. Don't do that. Right. So many times I make the mistake where I just zip past and then it's too late. X-Science, can you help me clear that? This is the one I want. Material study, so much easier than searching for the module now. Click there. Lab report is strategically written. Oh yes, this is I'm almost embarrassed, comrades. I added another mod to the game. This is still the it's very out of date, but I think they did update it for 1.7 at least, not 1.7.3 though. This is that community sourced science reports. So I just thought maybe to add some variety, and we don't have to just get those messages where it said you observe it or something. We need to see something unique. So there it is, to convince KSC to let you land on the moon. That's clever actually. So obviously this is on the road towards landing on the moon. So anyway, we'll save that. That obviously is now proof that that mod still works for 1.7.3. Now also I must not forget to do the correction burn. I think I'll have to burn prograde. Yep, just needed that confirmation there. So as always, all information about the mods will be in the description, and then you can just have a look. Usually the latest version, like this community source science thing, is in the GitHub of each mod. So just have a look at that, because the website was still saying it's for 1.4. But then I just looked on the GitHub and I saw it was 1.7, so that's okay. And usually if it's just an informational mod, it'll still work. 4,000 meters is alright, hopefully. Anyway, F5 now, but for this kind of mission I won't revert. I will only revert if we have a catastrophic mistake on the launch pad or just after the launch pad, like now without the fins and all of that, because otherwise this is just going to get too tedious. But in general I would still like to live with my failures. So there we are, there's the Leaf Foster Prodigy 3, and we are on our way back home, and just like that. Now we just detach, and now we don't care about no SAS. Hopefully it will still survive. If not, we're gonna have a Prodigy 4. Okay, there we are. Let's see. So it at least still, oops, we still see some things sticking out there that's not supposed to. Oh well, we'll argue it had something to do with the attachment points for the decoupler there, but it might not survive anyway. No, oh no, it looks like it's going to be another fail for the Science Junior anyway. Ouch, ouch. Or no, we're gonna make it. If we still haven't blown up by now, we'll make it. But the one on the back there, you can't really see it well. Got a little too close for comfort. But the capsule itself can survive. Just don't try this around Eve. We will have a problem there. So yes, I don't know what we're going to do when we visit Eve. We'll have to use that large detachable heat shield. Otherwise, I don't think we'll make it, just because of the extra heating. Right, so we did come through that. So the Leaf Foster saw us through our times of troubles, and now we get the data from that. So thank you, comrade. Oh well, need to pay more attention to these little things, but we'll look at it from this side. Now we don't see any clipping. Right, fast forward again, and now we just wait for splashdown. Deploy it and fast forward. Let the Safechute mod do the thing that it's supposed to do. Now the danger of the mod like Safechute is that once you don't play with that and you just time warp, you'll just time warp into the ground because you expect it to be there, but it's not. 7 meters is fine. And we just wait for the last few meters here. Trajectory, that's the Trajectories mod. It thinks we're still on a trajectory. Technically we are, but anyway. And bang. Great stuff. Recover the vessel, and I saw we got a contract there. We were supposed to return from the orbit of the moon, or flyby of the moon. So that's another great thing. So we got 50 science for that experiment, and still a 12 science for just returning. So now I can have a look at our messages. This stage, that was the upper stage with the heat shield. Why did it have a heat shield? Oh, it's a previous Prodigy, never mind. A return trip from the moon? Is this mission log right? Incredible. Now these kind of messages will still be the stock ones. Taken our first steps towards exploring the moon. Let's keep going and see where it takes us. 100,000, so that is fantastic and very profitable, and we have returned home from a flyby of the moon. So this is the government again, I imagine. And experimental data, that was the other contract that we still had outstanding. That's another 52,000 or 52 million. And that's that. So let's have a look at the contracts again. So that's the important thing. If you complete these world first things, immediately go back and have a look to see if there's a new one. Because if you miss it, I think it's gone forever. I'm not sure about that, but anyway. So right now we have 4 days to accept this offer or contract. So I will do that, of course, because this is money for stuff we'll do anyway. Orbit the moon and return from an orbit of the moon. So of course I'll accept that. Tourists still want to all pass out. I don't know what's so appealing about passing out from high G-forces, but anyway. They want to go suborbit, orbit, suborbit and orbit. We might take something like this. Maybe. We'll have years to do this. 5 years. So, the money is the good thing here. This is very appealing to me. But I'm not sure if we'll do that yet. Take it. We can always cancel it. Why be so timid? Temperature surveys from the moon. This is now again for orbit. Spaceflight. Didn't I take one like this already? Yes, I did. So I'll take this one too. This is all above, so we can do it easily. There's another temperature one. This is all below 10. That's also fine. Right, so now we have 3 of that. We'll do that in an orbiting mission. Then for something like this, you just go into polar orbit around the moon, and then you dip up and down, and then of course depending on your altitude, you just time warp and then take the readings. So that's pressure near Kerbal. Oops, that's not the right thing. That's one of the older ones. It's these 3 here. So we still have to do this one as well. Anyway, we'll wait on that. There's no rush. Let's have a look. Is Jamie still there? Yes, he is. Can I upgrade the astronaut complex? Let's just have a look again. I always like to look at the artwork. So there's one of our early missions, I guess, but this would be in a nice green setting there. Coffee cups and laptops and dartboards. Anyway, I just appreciate little details like that. Right click, $75 million is not too bad for that. And now they can do EVAs and place flags. I think we can't do the samples yet. No, we can't do that yet. So now of course we have a much fancier accommodation for them. And they are actually playing KSP in their rooms there, which is quite funny. I like that. So now I'm going to definitely hire Jamie, because I like, as I said, the recognizable kind of names. Another scientist is very good, and he's very smart as well. $79 million for you, for your lifetime wages and life insurance and all of that. Now let's go back into the VAB and do an impactor. I want to do an impactor. But before we do, I just want to save this booster. It still helped. It's not something I really think I'll reuse. This is one of the uglier ones, but anyway. So I'll take everything. That upper stage was custom built, so I'll just save this. Now what can I call this? I'll just use one of my old names for this. We use the Javelin. Something that's not too good for something so hideous. I'll just call this the Arrow. Simple. Arrow 1A. Oop. Save. Right. Start from scratch. Goodbye, comrade, leave faster. So eventually, if I don't have more names, then I'll reuse the old ones again, so don't worry about that. Now for this, actually, before I do anything, I need to go back and look if we can use our science. Yes, we should be able to. 90, I think. Yes, so we'll have to use this. This is no question. Get it? Pay the 12 million for our subcontractors to develop the parts. And finally, we can get SAS on a probe. Thank goodness, eh? Oh, Octo, I've missed you. You are precious. But we still need to struggle a little at the beginning. I think that is historically accurate. Anyway, so now we have the Octo here. Now, in this case, what do we want for an impactor? What did we do previously? We did the flyby. Did we do a close flyby? I need to see. Of course, this will be just all of the moon biomes. High. Is that all we did? Goo observation, pressure scan, temperature scan. Where is the material study? High over the moon. That's supposed to be there. But we saw this before. It's like it doesn't update until the next time. Anyway. But now I know it was all high over the moon. So we can do the smaller experiments low over the moon this time. So in this case I'll take, of course, the thermometer and the barometer and the mystery goo. Now I'll have to do the old trick of just duplicating it and then going back to one to get it in the middle. So let's just see what else is there to make this look a little more appealing. No nose cones or anything like that. We do have the solar panels now, but I think I'll still skip out on that. Got the bigger batteries now. I'll strap one of those on and then again do the hibernating warp. But yes, no need for solar panels to blow up on the surface of the moon. We'll get... now again, the problem here is the tanks are all way too big for this. I want to see if we can make this look interesting again, just like our previous moon mission. How on earth? Maybe like that. Then I'll just flip it around. Now, of course, yes, then we can still use the snapping point on the bottom of the battery. Like that, and then... it's gonna have to be a bit of guesswork again. But it'll be so light, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we've got that. Maybe we'll put the experiments on the sides there. The temperature scanner, aka thermometer, there is a word for that, and the barometer. Okay, then 2 antennas. Sure, like that, then they point backwards. Okay, then now I can put them on action groups. At the beginning when they changed things, I was always confused. Where did the numbers go? But of course you click on something first, then you get your numbers. Toggle antenna. And I think that's it. So this is a light probe, 200 kilos. Very, very light. So I think this will be easy. There's still the heat shield we need to test. Now, okay, that said, let's just use the previous mission's configuration. So that was Pioneer, I think. So merge with this. Yes, you can see it's almost part of the Pioneer family still. Take the decoupler and put it on there. Of course, we move it a little now. And throw that away. And just change the struts so it still looks connected. Right, no fancy fairings. No, nothing. Alright. Now in this case, of course, check your staging again. The middle one is not being reused here. Let's throw that away then. Use the one that I saved. Yes, that's it. So the Spire 1B, or no, Spire 2A, the so-called 8 kilos to TMI, 800 I think. Anyway, so fire that, do that, wait, what's going on here? No? That, then ignite, then separate, then ignite, and then separate again. Now in this case, bring it to low. It is already on low, so it's going well. Now a new name for impactors. Impactors will not be pioneers. So let me just have a look again what I still have. The new names that you suggest, I'll start using once I run out of the original ones, or if I think there's a really good fit there. Let me just have a look at some of them. Hawk, Eagle, Thunderhawk, Excalibur. These are such epic names, you know. Does it fit for an impactor? You know, maybe Excalibur will. It sounds so epic, but you know, Excalibur was stuck in that stone, so that's exactly what's going to happen to this probe, ideally. So that's what we'll call this. Excalibur 1. Save that. Now, of course, the name again. So for this, our second named mission, Solar Sojourner. There you go, comrade. Of course, this is not a solar probe, but still, there you go. Save again, launch the thing. And more coffee. And it's night time. First time we launch in the night in the desert. We can wait for the day. Should we? Since that thing, did I put it on? Yes, auto hibernate. It shouldn't use any electric charge, or at least very little. It still uses it, but you can hardly notice it. Right, there we go. SAS, oh, you magic thing, you beauty. And good luck, comrade Solar Sojourner. Now we don't really need the fins at the start anymore, but I think maybe we do. I'll turn the SAS off while we ascend through the lower part of the atmosphere. Right, now we'll see. And away we go, comrades. I'll see you in space. Oh no, same old story, just like we had before. Well, the SAS will help now, hopefully. We really need fairings now. Right, on with the journey. And we are in orbit. Again, not the most circular, but that doesn't matter. And more than enough fuel for the impact. Of course, we don't have to worry about flybys now. Then, I think, yes, we can deploy the antennas as soon as we do the burn. Then we can separate as well. So let's just plot the thing. And there's, of course, Pioneer 1 still. Set as target. And now we just need an impact. Of course, the fact that we're angled like this makes it a bit difficult, but just have to burn normal here. That's an impact. 1 kilometer is a bit more than usual, but again, we still have that. Right. Burn in 5 minutes, of course. Just get to the point. Oh, it's so much nicer now. That whole flipping could also have been avoided if I just added more a reaction wheel. But anyway, a lesson for the future. And prepare. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck, comrade, for the second phase of your journey. We need to get that data, that sweet, sweet science from the moon. Okay, now I can just do small burns. And that's an impact right there. Okay, F5 in case we miss now when we separate, but that shouldn't happen. Such a light thing. Now we still have an impact. And now I can press 1 to deploy the antennas, and they still clip a little bit, but anyway. And there we go. Okay, comrades, we're approaching the moon. We just have to keep an eye on getting to the low part. Now the question is, okay, liquid fuel is irrelevant there. We just have to keep an eye on the power. But when do we get to the low over the moon biome zone? I don't think we'll have a lot of time for this. Well, comrade Solar Sojourner, your journey is not exactly the longest one, but anyway, it's going to be a spectacular one. Right, I can actually just use this to keep track of it. This is much better. So we've taken all of these readings already. Now we need some closer readings right there. So temperature scan, so it's about 55-ish kilometers to get near. So transmit that. Do an atmospheric scan, transfer that. Not even reading them now. Go. The goose seems as excited as you are at being this close to the moon. Well, it's gonna get a lot more exciting, I tell you one thing. And there it goes. Now, of course, there's no point to do this again, but now we learned for sure there is no atmosphere on the moon. Yes, while waiting for the temperature scan to finish, you sketch the pattern made by the moon's canyons. Well, that's nice and poetic. Close that, and for this, comrades, we'll just take the UI away. This is going to be unnecessary in this case, so I'm just going to do an F1 here. Comrade Solar Sojourner, thank you for your great mission here, and prepare to see the spectacular finale now. Now, of course, we still pretend our probe is giving us data at this point and pictures from the surface of the moon. Goodbye, comrade. And it's just a puff of smoke. Not even that, really. There's things exploding. Well, this is an exciting part of the moon. Let's see, this is a highlands area. Where is this? Okay, so it's to the north of this crater, which is what? Is it this one? I think it's this one, to the north of this one. Right, I'll try to remember that. The east crater, I think. Okay, well, that's it, comrades. We'll go back now. Excalibur 1 Solar Sojourner crashed into the moon. Of course, it doesn't say where, I think. The biome? No. Anyway, it's not a failure, it's a success. This is exactly what we wanted. Space Center, please. And we have enough science for a next... what do we call this even? A tier? This is not a tier, but for the next collection anyway. So let's just see what we have here. Separators, adapters, docking ports. No, not yet. Capsules, that's what I want. So we get to the second tier of command pods. So Comrade Solar Sojourner, you made this possible. And there we go, unlock that. They pay 30 million to get the development done and just speed up to the day. And now we just mark off a few more things from our list. Welcome back to the master plan, comrades. We can now tick off the lunar impactor completely. So another lunar probe. Of course, ours was the Excalibur. Lunar impactor, study of the structure of the moon, level 1. Study of the lunar soil, since we took close-up pictures of the moon there. Well, we literally saw the close-up of the moon. And the close-up pictures again. Right, so, and of course we did the bioscience flyby with Comrade Lee Foster. So I'll save this and I'll see you next time, comrades. This was a fun episode and I hope you enjoyed as well. See you soon again. Have a fantastic day.